You are listening to the Kinky Coach podcast with Stephanie
and Fox.
Hey, Fox.
Yeah?
You've been a bad boy.
Nice boy. Nice boy should be punished.
This show contains explicit content.
And is intended for mature audiences only.
This is what happens when an innocent, successful mental health professional
falls for a rugged, prior deployed bad boy. You get one hell of a ride.
Hey, babe.
Hey, yeah.
So, have you finally taken the time to log on to allplayground.net?
Absolutely.
Finally?
Finally.
Prove it. So tell me something.
Oh, it's a quiz, huh?
Anything, yes, absolutely.
So they have profile videos.
What do you mean?
So instead of having a profile picture, you can have a quick little profile video.
Like a little video intro?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's kind of sexy.
Yeah. That's pretty neat.
I like it.
That's not really the status quo of what we see.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay.
We need to get on that, though.
I noticed that they're always launching something new.
I like that.
Like every week or once a month, there's something new that's rolling out. And I know there's a lot more to come too. Okay, we're going to do this quiz again next week. Because I like that you finally actually logged on.
Absolutely. I'm really enjoying it.
Good. So, allplayground.net. If you haven't done so,
check them out.
It's not the status quo.
Awesome. So this is part 2 of our two-parter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So during this one, we've got some lucky contestants that are going to tell us all about their journey.
Contestants?
I don't know. Yeah.
Are they going to win something?
Well, of course.
What are they going to win?
They can win a skydive if they enter.
Baby, that's not how this works at all.
Do you like that plug?
Yeah, but come on now. You can't promise gifts. And
I didn't promise any gifts.
You said they could win something.
Yeah.
There's what's to win.
The skydive.
No, it needs to be like you give a blowjob or,
Nope.
or oral sex
No.
or I don't know, something.
Sexual favors are not included in this activity.
Well, I'm not. I'm leaving. This is fucking boring to me. Why did I even come home? I don't understand.
Know. Anyway.
I'm telling you, I am still on the fence whether or not women control the lifestyle and whether or not that's okay and whether or not the lifestyle overall is sexist. I just still don't know how I feel. So
for listeners that are just tuning into this one, this is a two-parter. Listen to the first one to kind of get some insight on this. But define sexist. What is your definition?
It seems like in the last decade or so that the lifestyle has become female dominant. And what I mean by that is I talk to a lot of husbands, boyfriends, play toys, playthings, partners. Well, there's many different relationships out there, right?
Out there.
And it seems that a lot of feedback I get is, well, I do whatever my wife wants. And that has been shocking to me because in all my relationships, I have been very equal across the board with my partner. And I demand equality. I demand like a man. Yeah.
And here we go. Who is sexist? Just
whoa. I didn't say, I said I demand equality. And so I just found it very interesting. So that kind of dove us into this show and that question of, right?
Sexism in the lifestyle.
Yes. Because in our relationship, like I said, we are equal across the board.
In some ways, yes.
What do you mean? Whoa. Go ahead.
In some ways, I don't want to be, and you know that.
Well, okay, that's different, though. Preference over,
yeah.
Over non-preference and where things stand overall.
Yes, overall.
Okay.
He's the man.
I never said that.
You just did.
No. Go ahead and take me out of context. It's okay. I've already gotten some hate mail.
All right.
Legitimately from the first show, and I'm good with it. It's okay with me.
I am just going to jump right in with our guests. We do have some guests that called in, David and Michelle, and we're going to get their take on the lifestyle. So if you will go ahead and bring them on.
And click them in.
Click them in, baby.
Boom, they're clicked in. David and Michelle, are you there?
Yes.
Hey,
Hello.
guys. How you doing?
Good. How are y'all?
Wonderful. So.
How did it feel to get clicked in?
Yeah, you got clicked in.
It was amazing.
Was it? Did it tickle any?
Did it make
My
you feel
first clicking?
Did it make you feel funny?
Yeah.
That high-pitched voice just told us everything.
Right?
There you go.
Woo!
David, you and I may have to talk offline, brother.
All right, you going to tickle him right in?
No, that's not what I meant.
Oh.
Go ahead. Take it out of context
Yeah.
again.
So,
You're going to beat me up all show today, aren't you?
man, I'm on it. I'm
You're
on fire.
feisty already, I can tell.
And the grocery store was packed, so that's why I'm feisty. I was fighting.
I was working.
I know.
In the hot sun.
Yeah, I know. So the reason why we have you guys on the show, we want to know who introduced the lifestyle to whom.
Well, can we back up for a second?
Sure.
How do you guys define your relationship? I would like to start there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get deep.
Just so we can give, some background to everyone listening.
Okay, that's fair.
I would say we were open. We are very equal.
I'm been leading more of the lifestyle lately as a hot wife, but I'm the one that decided that I wanted to add in more of a couples type atmosphere.
Okay.
So it started as a hot wife, and then y'all moved into the couples, into swinging.
Yes.
Okay.
Good to know. So, with that out of the way, so how exactly would you classify yourself? Do
Yeah.
you still classify yourselves as a hot wife couple, or do you classify yourself as swingers, or do you classify yourself as open, or
Yeah,
what's the word you
We've
use?
got to put you in a box. So what box do we put you in?
And I hate boxes. Just understand.
Well, I would say, hell, I don't know. I mean, because we still enjoy both. I enjoy her having boy toys. I think it's exciting. But we also like the swinging aspect. So I think we like swinging more. Yeah. So you can put us, I guess, as open swingers, whatever box that is.
We don't really have boxes. I'm just making that shit up.
Yeah, I was like, can I have a few boxes?
Yeah, no, I just made that shit up. I
She's
don't
just
got a
giving
damn
me
box.
shit because I hate titles.
Yeah.
I use titles in the show so people have an understanding of what we're talking about, but I 100% hate titles. I just don't. I can't stand them.
Yes.
I think it's more of whatever we are comfortable with
Yes.
at that particular moment.
Yes, because it can be different depending on who you're around, depending on the environment. There's so
It's
many
the
different
chemistry.
factors. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, on Monday we might want to swing, and on Wednesday she might want to go have a date. And then as long as we talk about it, we're okay with that.
Yep,
Awesome.
I agree. One day I want to seduce our, barely 18-year-old babysitter.
We don't have a babysitter
Whoa.
anymore. We have
Don't ruin my fantasy.
older
Knock it off.
children.
And then the next day, I want to go to a swinger party, and then the next day I want to go on a private date, and then the next, one day I want a cheeseburger and cheesecake. I mean, come on, don't sue me.
Exactly.
Yeah. With that out of the way, so just open, doing what you want to do. Is there a more dominant partner in your relationship?
Well, I still want to know who brought it forward first.
Well, she said she did.
Well, I brought in the couples.
She brought in the
and I
couples.
brought in the hot wife.
He brought in the hot wife. See,
Ah.
you have to listen to this.
I'm not you. I'm not a good listener.
So, talk to me about why you decided to hot wife. Why you brought that to her.
I find it sexy that other men find her attractive.
Okay.
I also like the fact that she's allowed to do things. And that being said, I'm allowed to go do what I want, but I'm very comfortable at home with just my wife. So her going on a date, I find that sexy and erotic and taboo. And
He likes to watch me flirt.
yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I like to watch her flirt. I find that very sexy.
Okay.
I agree with you.
And
by
it's
the way.
it's very much added to our sex life. We have a great sex life at home. It's very active, overactive some days.
I have a question, Michelle. When he brought that to you, what were your thoughts?
Be honest.
Be honest, yeah.
I was extremely hesitant at first. I had friends that have had parents that did those things, and sometimes the way that they act in front of vanilla people is not always a good idea, and I didn't want to take that to extreme. And so it was a discussion that we had to have for a few months before I was like, okay, maybe I could actually try it and it would be okay.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And then when she brought swinging to you, what were your thoughts?
When and where?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I was excited. Thought it'd be something different. And the way I envision it is, I still get to watch her, and that's a huge turn on for me. And I get the added bonus of possibly being with somebody else.
Okay.
So I couldn't see, as long as the chemistry is good and everybody's getting along, I don't see how it could be a bad experience. But we don't have expectations either, so we just kind of go with it. So maybe that helps us a lot.
Fox, it's fair to say in this situation, the male brought it to her, just like it says in my research study. the men usually, 74% of the men usually introduce the lifestyle to their women, and then she took off and ran with it. So that part of the research study is correct.
Well, so again, I didn't start out that way. So I am not that 70 whatever percent.
74%.
74%. I had a younger lady that I was dating bring it to me.
I understand that, and you talked about that in the first show. I'm just saying. So I just wanted to point out that some research is correct.
Okay. Based off of one couple?
Based off
Okay.
Well, and also when we did the live show on Wednesday, I asked that, and all of the 102 people in the live chat were saying
Roger's up the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That the men introduced it. Women
so
ran with it.
You're telling me that
you're a rarity.
I was a lucky son of a bitch.
You are. You're a rarity.
Yeah, okay.
With that said, do you feel like, guys, that the lifestyle is sexist?
I don't.
I would say it's not, but it does lean more towards the female being the one in the lead a little bit more.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like dating. Most of the time when you go out on a date, the male is the one that initiates, but the female can always say no.
God, I know a lot of sluts then, because I've been on dates, and my dates are like 50-50. It's kind of whoever initiates first initiates, but I've had a fair number of women initiate as much as I've initiated.
I've initiated it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, you're with me, of course. You're
No,
kind
I'm
of
not.
slutty.
I'm talking about.
But I'm just saying, if you're going to be with me, you have to be a certain type of person. So,
We talked about
so
that last.
this makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I will have to say that I've initiated quite a bit as far as like talking.
Between me and you?
No, just talking to different people. Between me and you, yes, you're the initiator.
Yeah.
You are the stronghold.
Grr.
Well.
Do you pounce on her like a bear?
Oh Lord.
Tight like a tiger.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, thank you guys for answering those questions and for calling in for that. Yeah, we appreciate you listening.
Anytime. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so our next guests are pretty yummy, and I want to know all about their story. And so let's welcome Jay and Nick.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Awesome. So we've been talking about sexism in the lifestyle.
And your butt. What?
And your butt. Yes, you've got a very nice ass. But we've been talking about sexism in the lifestyle, and do you think the lifestyle is sexist? And so we want your story and your opinion on this. There's research that says 74% of men bring their women into the lifestyle. Fox, on the other hand, argues with this because he says he was brought in by a woman. I happen to...
Look, I don't argue with that.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
you don't argue. I meant, he adds. And I happen to know y'all's personal story. And you guys, well, let's just let you tell it. How did you get into the lifestyle?
Well, I guess the first question is, how would you define your guys' relationship, and who brought up the lifestyle first? Let's start with that.
We didn't know what the word lifestyle was when we first got into it. So when we were out a trip in Cancun and we were looking for a topless beach, we found Temptation and were given a night pass over there after we did a tour. And when we hung out for the night, we had a few drinks and had a little more fun than we normally did, but it was our last night. What the hell?
Just throw caution to the wind, damn it.
That's it. It was our last night. It was our first trip together. And we went and started dancing. She started dancing on her own after I got some drinks. And all of a sudden she's with a beautiful blue-eyed blonde. And they're dancing and having a good time. And then I meet the husband. And we're talking and just enjoying the view.
I bet it was
After
beautiful.
a few minutes in, and all of a sudden they start kissing on the dance floor. And they invited us to their hotel room. We both didn't really answer. We just went. And we all had now we're getting to know the terminology, but the soft swap, if you want to call it that. And went back to our hotel room and already had to pack because we had to leave. We were there for a long time. And just talked about it when we got back to the States. Didn't realize what all of it was, but we started to dive into it to get to know what it was that just drove us sexually wild. And it was just such a great experience of how we felt and everything that took place. And we just wanted to, we had a sponge. We wanted to absorb more and learn more about it. And we dove into it, and we've been doing it since.
Awesome. So now that you're in this, right, how would you, or I'm not even asked that. Who would you say dominates your relationship, if any? Is it equal across the board?
Wait, let's not say dominates. Let's says, what about leads heavily?
Okay, then leads.
Yeah.
Leads heavily, dominates, is the boss. It's, you know.
Yeah, who's the boss? Who wears the pants in y'all's
Who's
relationship?
all encompassing? But what does that look
Hey,
like for you guys?
initiated it. She initiated it once she was on that dance floor with that beautiful blonde. That's how everything started. So I'm with him. If it all started, the female took lead, and that's how everything unraveled.
Interesting.
Oh,
See?
he's rubbing it in right
Yes,
now.
I am. Because that's what happened to me.
You know, I do love women. So I guess, you know, I was taking a chance, you know, just going with it that night. And it just led to something that I felt comfortable in, and so did Jay. I want to say, as far as like everything goes, we're 50-50 because he's more active on Cassidy because I have no patience for websites.
Mm-hmm.
And Kick, he pretty much dominates that. But I guess I get the last say of like who I like and or approve of maybe.
She's my queen, so what she says goes.
Gotcha. So you put the food in front of her, and she chooses what to eat.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Nick, did you know you were bisexual, or was that a new thing that you realized in Mexico?
I've always been bisexual. I've always loved women and men. It was nothing new for me. Jay knew that before, you know, we went to that trip, but it was nothing that I ever acted on while I was with him.
I love it. Well, I mean, you have now.
Yes.
Well, you say when you were with him, had you acted on it before?
Well, I've been with women before him, just being a woman. But yeah, I mean, when I was with him, I was able to get both. So that was good.
Sure.
I think
Are
that's
you getting heated over there?
A little bit, maybe.
This is my favorite aspect of the lifestyle is I get both.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. So it's interesting because I know that a lot of women are kind of bi-curious, or what are they saying now? Playful. I don't know. There's so many different terms now where they're really not bisexual, but they also don't mind it.
Hey Kinky Nation, do you need help with navigating the swinging lifestyle? Fox and I offer personalized coaching services designed specifically for your relationship needs.
Are you the person that all your friends turn to when they have questions about sex? You should check out the Kinky Coach Sex Coach Certification course and get paid for sex coaching instead of doing it for free. Just go to kinkycoach.com.
Lastly, if you feel that you are in need of therapeutic services for your relationship or individually, please visit Beautiful Beginnings with an S, LLC.org for more information on the counseling services I offer. Okay, Kinky Nation, let's get back to the show.
But it's interesting to hear a story very similar to yours, babe, because so before I met Stephanie, she had been in soul relationships with women and then soul relationships with men. And then she had been a unicorn for a while and just hooked up with couples.
And I didn't know what that meant.
Yep. She had no idea. She just thought, well, I'm just going to fuck who I want, and this couple wants to fuck me, so I'm going to go have fun. Screw this. So it's good to hear that you're not the only one, babe. Yeah, because a lot of women we meet are like, oh yeah, I'm bisexual.
And then they're like...
Well, to them that means like making out and touching, and then that stops. And where Steph is like, this is bullshit. I want way more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have to ask a lot of people, and even clients, I have to have them clarify, are you bi-curious or are you bisexual? And we have that hard line of what that means and where their comfort level falls in that spectrum.
All right. So now you don't have to feel like you're the only one.
I know. I feel, I guess, validated?
Validated?
I don't know. I like it.
Well, it was really interesting. I think it was, I don't remember his name. But, well, I do remember his name. I just don't know that I'm going to say his name out loud. So he came up to me and he was asking me about you, and specifically his wife. And she was like, well, can I make out with her? And I was like, honey, if she likes you, you could probably, do whatever you want to her. And she's like, oh, well, I'm not that bisexual. And it led into a conversation. I was like, whoa, what do you mean by you're not that? So you're not bisexual at all. You just like to kiss women and flirt for your husband or for yourself? And she's like, well, women are soft to touch and kiss, but that's as far as I go with it. And I was like, okay, well, I'd probably call you more like by playful, but not really.
That's a good term for you.
Yeah.
To have used.
Anyway, so this has been fun.
It has been fun.
Yeah. And it has been informational.
Insightful.
Yeah. And now I'm going to go plot and scheme.
Yes.
On this new found information of mine.
Yes, I'm going to bust out the old calendar, my date book.
I'm going to find out how to try and get them naked.
Oh, I mean, I was
Did they
just,
hear that? I don't think they did.
I was just going to 100% just ask.
Oh.
I'm going to get the date book out and start planning with you guys. But thank you again for taking the time to talk to us and give us your insight and your story, and for listening to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
We've had a little bit of time between when we first started this episode and now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have talked to some more couples. I feel like we have a better grasp on the subject. So I'm going to ask you, do you think the lifestyle is sexist?
I do a little bit. Now, that again, like I was saying, that's not necessarily a negative thing. I just know for us, that wouldn't work.
Okay.
But I do. Talking to two couples about their experience and their journey into the lifestyle doesn't negate the hundreds and hundreds of couples that I know that would say the opposite.
I agree. And I find it interesting. This past weekend, we got to host another event.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I noticed at the event we were hosting were the women taking control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if the women wanted to play with somebody, they would tell their man, I want to play with them. And then the man would have to go over and initiate the conversation. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't quite catch that. I actually caught the latter, where there was a couple that wanted to, or I'm not going to say the wife wanted to play with me. So she came over directly and asked me. And then I think so we brought our girlfriend.
Okay.
And what I found was, first the woman approached me, asked me, then turned to our girlfriend and said, well, is that okay? And she laughed and looked at her and said, I'm just a girlfriend. I'm the wrong one to ask.
No one asked me anything.
Right. Well, because I stopped her. And I said, well, it's awesome that you want to ask my wife, but first you need to sort this out with me. And then I think that kind of put her off, because she asked me, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you need to make sure I want to play with you to begin with before we go and talk to my wife about this.
That brings up a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So is it automatically assumed that when women go to these events that they're going to be able to hook up with whoever they want to hook up with?
Well, I'm not a woman, but I do think that a lot of women feel that they have a lot more...
Flexibility? No, dominance.
Dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that they are allowed a lot more leeway in what they do. And you know me, I don't allow that either which way. So,
true.
It's very flattering for a woman to want to play. However, if I'm not interested, then I'm just not interested, and it's not going to happen regardless. So, and that was the point I was trying to make to this young lady was, before you go and talk to Stephanie, we need to sort out whether I'm interested or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she was ready for that more of a in-depth conversation. I think she saw much depth in me, I guess, as a character, because she looked at me really funny, and then she just blatantly asked, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, I don't know you. All I know about you right now is that you're taller, you have curves, and that you are confident enough to come up and directly and ask me a question. And while that's awesome, I need to get to know you a little bit more, just a tiny bit more.
Okay. Looking from that point of view, this particular person automatically assumed that you would get hard and have sex with her.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I'm just asking, clarifying.
No, I'm not going to say that because that wasn't her presentation.
Okay.
So she came up to me and she said, "Hi, how you doing?" She introduced herself, and I said, "Oh, good to meet you." And she first asked, she said, "You guys are hosting the event, correct?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "Well, great. Let me be direct. That's my husband over there." And I talked to him, and I let him know that I would love to play with you. So I would like to talk to your wife about playing. And then she turned right and she went, "Oh, sorry. Is that okay?" And that is when our girlfriend laughed and said, I'm not the one to ask. And she kind of pointed back to me. And then I kind of, I got where she was going with it without her having to say it. And I said, well, let's just pause and talk a little bit. And because before I play with anybody, it's my decision whether I want to play with them. And if I'm not interested, then it's not really a conversation that Stephanie needs to have with you anyway. And I'm pretty sure the directness caught her off guard and probably made her feel, oh, he's not interested. Because she said, okay, let me go grab my drink. And she walked away and never came back.
That's interesting on so many different levels. Mm-hmm. One of the many levels that she felt compelled that you were automatically going to be okay with it. Because at some level she was.
Okay. She
was automatically assuming that you were going to be okay with her playing with you. Then just to say, well, I'm going to go talk to your wife about it, because then again, that flips it and puts it back on me to give permission, which again, being a female, it's leading the way. So yeah, right. It's a little bit sexist there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I found it, kind of interesting. So obviously I wasn't too sad when she didn't return, because I felt already, if you don't respect me enough as a person to have the conversation with me directly first, then we're probably not a good match anyway, sexually.
That is a little bit, man. Okay, so if the roles were reversed, a guy didn't come to me and ask to play. They went to you and asked if they could play with me before they even asked me.
So a lot of men have done that. And my response is, you need to go talk to her first. It's not my job to decide for Stephanie whether she wants to play with you or not. And then I get, of course I would talk to her, but I was just, making sure you're okay with it. And I said, well, I don't know. You need to go talk to Stephanie. And then Stephanie and I will talk about it. And then we'll obviously, as a couple, make a decision. But it's a little different, I think, for you and I, because you know how open I am and you know how encouraging I am. So unless there are like major alarms going off or some security reason, or something in the background that's just telling me, do not do this with this person. You know that little alarm I'm talking about in your head that says, danger, danger, danger. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for?
Yep. That was my little magical button from our very attractive, gorgeous friend. Mm-hmm. But yeah, unless the danger and panic button is going off, then primarily I let you decide whatever you're going to do. It's your body. It's your desire. It's not mine. Or if I'm feeling in a selfish mood, I usually tell you. But we, as a couple, determine normally how open we're feeling that night before we ever step in the door. And then we agree that if that changes at any point during the night, that we will just tell each other right away once we realize that.
We're pretty good about what we go into, we stick with.
Yeah, for the most part. Mm-hmm.
We're not one to change in the middle of it.
Not really, no. But not to say that it can't happen.
No, not to say that it can't happen. It's not happened yet.
Right. But, so it goes back to what you were saying. I don't want to put the thought and assume that she was thinking, well, if your wife's okay with it, you'll do it. I don't want to go that far, but I am going to say that, yes, you're correct. I do feel like she felt like, well, I don't have to talk to you. I need to go talk to Stephanie. Mm-hmm. And that threw me and it put me off, to be honest. And I think this statement goes for anyone, regardless of what you have between your legs. If you can't respect that person enough to be direct with them and hold that conversation with them and see if they're interested in the first place, then I would challenge you and tell you that you're being not only rude, but disrespectful on some level.
I think unrealistic.
Yeah, and unrealistic. Yeah.
I think you're placing unrealistic expectations on a situation that is already touchy.
Mm-hmm. Well, so some quick background on some of my experience too is when it comes to a club or a hotel takeover, that is where I have found women to be extra dominant in theory and hold the opinion that they can do what they want when they want, and that the men are just there literally as puppets or toys for them. And I don't play well with that.
I picked up on that. I've never been to a hotel takeover, but the events that we've hosted, the men definitely sit back and let the women take the lead.
Right.
Sometimes it's painful to watch.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Because, like you said, the men are treated like puppies. Like, just follow me around. And that might be their dynamic, and that's fine. But I see it in most of the couples that come to our events. They allow the woman to dictate what happens throughout the evening.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that could be for many different reasons.
You're right. There's
obviously
it's so many different dynamics.
I just know that, referring back to us,
That doesn't work for us.
That doesn't work for us. And I would even further say that I'm gonna give every couple and any man or woman that wants to play with Stephanie a one up here by tattletaling on you for a second.
Oh boy.
If you are interested in playing with Stephanie, then she likes a man, not a little boy, not someone that needs to. No, it's true. You like a certain rugged alpha type male.
Dominant.
And if they don't present themselves as such, you are probably not going to be interested, regardless of how they look, because it's going to turn you off.
It does.
So that dynamic also doesn't work very well with us, because when we meet couples, and that tends to be the dynamic, I watch you. Initially, you're like, oh, he's cute. And I can normally tell when you think someone's attractive. And through the conversation, I see your attractive meter going lower and lower and lower, because you realize this guy isn't going to grab me by my hair, smack me on the ass, and take what he wants. He's going to look to his wife or partner for permission every step and inch of the way. And that's not going to make for a fun experience.
No, it doesn't. And also, if you're wearing skinny jeans, that's an automatic no for me.
Right.
I just can't do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I don't own any skinny jeans.
But
I might go out and buy a pair just because you said that now.
I don't know. Just something about a pair of skinny jeans on a manly man. It's just not a thing for me.
Yeah. So let's get back to this, right? This talk of sexism. Sure. Why do you feel that dynamic is there? And I know we've talked about if they're new to the lifestyle, or if they need to feel in control, or, most women, it's smarter for the man to allow that to happen so they can define themselves, etc. But why else could that dynamic be there? Because again, we're not exactly saying that because the lifestyle seems to be sexist, that's a negative thing. We're not saying negative or positive.
Not at all.
We're just pointing out the fact that women tend to have control and dominate the majority of the lifestyle in general. And that's a dynamic that's been around for roughly about a decade now, because when I first got into it, it was very equal. And then even when I became a single male, it was still predominantly equal. I had a lot of husbands and partners, reach out to me and say, hey, for security reasons, she wants me to reach out to you. A couple points of conversation. I was so bold back in the day, I just literally took a picture of my driver's license, said here. It concerns me not that you know who I am, and maybe it'll make you feel more comfortable that I'm willing to give you this information. And then that was it. It was, okay, hey, talk to her now. I don't need to be involved in this at this point, unless that was the desire, but that's obviously changed dramatically. And like you said, at the club, you've seen a lot of that.
Do you think that it's changed dramatically due to society?
I don't know. Because
the Me Too movement?
I can say this. Being in law enforcement and being in emergency medicine, I've got to experience a lot of society. I've got to experience a lot of society I've never want to experience again. But society hasn't changed that much, honestly.
The empowerment of women has changed. A movement has happened.
Okay.
Women are no longer sitting on the sidelines. We're equal players in relationships, in life. And for the longest time, women weren't allowed to be empowered. It was just frowned upon to have a powerful woman. There was something, think about it. Think about the powerful women back.
See, that's hard for me to accept because, so my grandmother was a very dominant, powerful figure in our family. So was my mom. As crazy as that woman is, very dominant, very at the forefront of everything, wasn't going to take any shit. My grandmother, the same way. So I've had a lot of, I guess, dominant, powerful women in my life, and I've always treated women on my level because why not? I mean, maybe when I was younger, I was kind of, typical foolish, young, 19, 20, whatever year old. Made a lot of bad decisions, but I do remember always wanting my partner to be equal to me. So I never held that opinion or that way of life, even though I can admit that it was definitely around me.
Where were you born and raised in that time period?
In which time period?
That you're talking about with your grandmother and your mother in your formative years.
Well, so I was originally born and raised in Southern California.
Okay.
But around 16, I moved to New York, and then I joined the military, and then I pretty much have been stationed in Virginia for longer than I ever lived in the state of California.
Okay, but your formative years were in California.
Correct.
I want to throw I want to throw it out there, whatever I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. Is it a regional thing? Because Southern, our Southern manners, women, men are dominant. For example, we're going to pick somebody up, a couple, and we're in your truck. What's the first thing that I do?
You try and go in the back seat, which is super odd to me because we're together and I don't know why you try and do that.
Because in my mind, the men sit up front, the women sitting back, and that's just how I was raised.
Right, but that's not how I was raised.
I understand that, and you get very angry at me when I want to sit in the
back.
I
don't get angry.
You get angry.
I'm like, get your butt in the front seat because your place is not behind me. It's next to me. There's a difference.
Okay, but there are a lot of men in this region.
But I'm not one of those.
I understand that. Mm-hmm. You may not be, but we're in a regional area. So we may be seeing things differently because of the region we're in.
Well, yeah. And so to answer your question, I wouldn't even assume it's regional. It definitely is regional because, look, thanks to the military and my federal time, I've gotten to travel around the world actually. And on the West Coast. And so I want to put something out there, even though I'm born and raised in California, I hold no ties to California.
I know.
I don't agree with how California is.
I know. You wish it would just fall off the map.
I really would. I wish the next earthquake would take it out because I feel there are a lot of problems that are born and raised in that culture. When I was there, it wasn't like that. It was very open, but there wasn't a bunch of, or maybe I was just too young to see it or even understand it, or maybe it's because I wasn't raised like that. But the West is very open and liberal. In my opinion, this is not so anything I'm about to say is not factual. I have no way of proving it other than my experience and my time lived there. That's all I can say. Before someone jumps down my throat and is like, oh, I live in whatever and we're not like that. Okay, great. So the West is very open and mostly liberal. The further you get into the central part of the country, it becomes more conservative. And the farther east you go, it becomes a little bit more open again, right? So it's kind of like if you leave on the beach or the ocean in a beach community, it's very open. People walk around half naked, etc. They drink. I don't know any state that lives on the water that doesn't have a huge drinking, partying population down near the beach. And they're very open sexually for the most part. But then you separate it north to south, and north, right? Northerners are very direct. They're supposed to be very rude, but they're very equal. There's no dominance between male and female. It's very equal across the board. Where you go to the south, and everyone's very polite, but they talk behind your back. They're very religious, and men are supposed
Bless your heart.
Yeah. And men are supposed to be the dominant one, because they really, hold on to their religious values in the South.
I don't know if it's religious.
Maybe it's not. I can only tell you from what I see in my experiences. Yep. Then you go overseas, and it all breaks down differently from there. Overseas, it's extremely religious based. Like, I would say America is the least religious country in the entire world. Everyone else, when you go overseas, their values are very, very cultural based and very religious based.
So maybe it's fair for us to say that the lifestyle is sexist in the South.
Well, so the funny thing is, I've experienced the lifestyle all over the United States. After Playboy, we did a whole bunch of functions, parties, etc. And it seems to be the same across the board, regardless of where you go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I've been to events out in California, and it was pretty much the same. I've been to events in New York, Florida, Texas, even further north, South Dakota. And people go, wow, there's people in South Dakota. Yes, there is. Montana.
There's swingers everywhere.
There are all over the United States, all over the world.
I love it when I talk about it, just kind of piggybacking off of that. And I'm like, your boss could be a swinger. Mm-hmm. Your neighbor, your nanny. Mm-hmm. Swingers don't come in a specific mold.
They don't. Not at all. But where regionally and culturally, right, it changes our ideology and culture in the lifestyle, I haven't seen that change since this movement took over, so to speak.
Okay.
Now, I haven't been out of the country in some time, but I did attend a couple lifestyle events in France, one in Dubai and one in South Africa, and they also are predominantly the same. The only place that I have experienced pretty neutral ground with couples is Desire in Mexico.
Okay.
And maybe that's because it's a, resort.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that dynamic was like that. Maybe it was the group that was there at that time. I really can't speak to it. I just know that it was pretty neutral, and everyone seemed like they were equally in control, and it wasn't dominated by the female population when I was there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what is coming up?
What?
Just going to segue right into this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little nervous.
Why?
Because August is right around the corner.
Yes.
And rumor has it, I am skydiving topless.
Oh, rumor does have this.
And it's getting closer and closer, and I'm getting more and more nervous.
Yeah, I believe it's 3 days away or 4 days away from us announcing our winner.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of excited about that.
Why?
I want to know who I'm skydiving topless with.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I am very, very nervous. And it kind of ties into what we've been talking about. I think I would feel more comfortable if it was a woman than if it was a man.
Why is that?
I'm not sure, but the more I
love showing your boobs.
I love showing my boobs.
You do.
I really do. But I feel like I would be more comfortable in the plane with a woman.
This is interesting because our tandem instructors are all male.
They are.
Mm-hmm. Well, except for one.
Except for one.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure she would be comfortable with doing that. So I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she would, because she's the one who encouraged me to flash the pilot.
Is she?
Yes.
Oh, well, then.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. I know that our tandem instructors are fighting for the position to be the one to jump out with you topless. Yeah.
And the pilots are all fighting over who's gonna fly the plane.
No, I've already taken care of that.
Okay.
Yep. Our main pilot.
Our main man
is getting that job. I already promised him.
Well, that's okay because he's already seen them.
He's already seen them. Yeah, so it doesn't even matter. But I'm going to be in the plane with you.
You are.
So you will be surrounded by men anyway. Me, the pilot, and most likely the tandem instructor.
Yes.
So you're saying you want some backup. You would like it to be a female.
I would like it to be a female.
Well, then I hope when we do the drawing, because we're going to do the drawing live.
On August 1st. We have a lot of people who's entered.
I hope you have a magical hand that will pick a female because I'm going to be the one folding everything up, so you don't get to see anything. and then you
Just
get to
hearing
pick.
you say that, my stomach just dropped.
Why?
I don't know. Like when you just said that, we're going to pick it, my stomach dropped.
As long as your boobs don't drop.
They if they drop, I'm going back to the doctor and asking for a redo.
Yeah, a redo or refund.
So I'm excited to introduce our friends and our listeners that are going to be coming out, because everybody's invited
To part of our life.
to part of our life. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you don't win. We're doing a great special for those who don't win, and we want people out there with us. We want to make this an all-day event.
What do you mean by special?
I mean that we are offering the skydive, the tandem, a video package with a t-shirt and a gator neck and a bottle of wine.
But why should those other people show up if they're not the winner?
Because they're going to go party with us and hang out with us and see our life.
And
they're getting a great deal.
And a great deal on what?
On the skydive package I just said.
But that's for the winner.
No, that's for everybody. The winner gets it for free.
Oh, you're telling me these people get it for a discount?
They get it
All
for a
of that
huge discount. Yes.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know that.
They
I
get
knew
it
nothing
for
about this.
$275.
So for $275, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
They get to jump out of the plane.
With someone attached to them.
Okay. They get a t-shirt, a bottle of wine, a gator neck, a video.
And 250 pictures.
250 pictures with it's like a 5 or 6 minute video, right?
It is, yeah. It's a pretty cool video.
And then that night they get to hang out with us.
Yeah.
And do dinner, drinks.
Dinner
etc.
and drinks.
But
And
we're not providing the dinner and
we're not
drinks,
providing the
just to be
dinner
clear.
and drinks.
Okay.
We're only doing that for the winner. But I will say that I have a reputation for the place that we're going, getting a little bit tipsy and making out with a lot of people.
Girls, normally.
Normally girls.
Yeah. I would be shocked if it was a guy. I'd be like, wow, dude, congrats.
I've never done it. I've never made out with
She's
a
never
guy.
done that. Yeah. It's normally just women.
It's always been women.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I don't want to kiss a guy. Like, I kiss you.
You kiss plenty of guys when you play. Just not your thing when it comes to like having fun flirting? Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. All right, so just to clarify.
Oh, see, my stomach just
now,
dropped again.
Now this is ultra confusing, right?
Okay.
So August 1st,
yes,
we're doing our drawing for the winner.
For the winner.
The winner is going to come out August 15th, get a free tandem skydive, a t-shirt, a bottle of wine, a gator neck, a 6-minute video with 250 pictures, and then they get dinner for free and a drink.
Yes.
For free.
For free.
But we're only
one drink.
Only buying one drink. The rest is on you
alcoholics.
after that. Yeah.
You bring your own money for the rest. You alcoholics.
I don't want to be legally responsible for whatever happens after.
Yes.
And they get to hang out with us in our Sky family.
Yes.
Okay. But they have to provide their own travel.
They do have
They
to
have
provide.
to get to Salado, Texas, to Skydive Temple for all this to happen.
Yes.
Okay. For those that don't win, we are heavily discounting the tandem video package. Yeah. So the tandem video package is being heavily discounted. They get everything the winner gets, except for dinner and drink on us.
Yes.
Okay.
And they get that for $275.
Right. And they get to party with us.
And they get to party
Pretty
with
much
us.
all day and night.
All day. Yeah, seriously, because this is going to be an all-day thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing about going to the drop zone. We don't go for just a few hours. It's an all-day thing because we're going to jump, and we're going to be jumping, hopefully, in some of the planes, you and I, with the people paying.
Oh, for sure.
So we're going to try to be...
If you show up, we will absolutely do video and pictures in the plane with you.
Absolutely. We're going to jump with you.
We may even talk Stephanie into flashing you. It's possible.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting.
Okay. I just need to clarify because that was like a lot of...
I know.
You said the word special and then you said something backwards and I'm like, wait, this is going to be confusing to people. They're going to say, what are we talking about? So if you're interested in entering to win, because you have a couple more days left.
Yes.
Okay. All you have to do, it's real simple. There's no gimmick. There's no bullshit. There's no setup here. We're just trying to get our social media feeds up with followers.
Yep.
So go to our social media. Subscribe to us.
Like us.
Like something and then comment. Subscribe to us. Like something and then comment the word skydive. And we will automatically take the name on your profile and put it down.
Put it in our drawing.
Yeah, and it will go into the drawing. So yeah, And you can do this on all of our platforms. Each submission on a platform is a submission.
Yeah,
so
it's
if you literally go to 29 different things on Instagram and do all the same thing, and 29 or 30, let's say 30 because 29, if I try and do that math right now, it's going to get confusing. You could do 10 on Facebook, 10 on Instagram, 10 on Twitter.
Okay.
And that gives you 30 entries.
I got you. I see
Yes.
where you're going with
You
this.
see where I'm going with
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
But
okay.
make sure that you like our page.
Yeah. Well, that's the big thing. If you don't subscribe, I'm going to bounce those names against
Yeah.
the subscriptions. And if I don't see a subscription, well then, sorry,
Or a like.
sorry for your luck. Same.
I know, but subscriptions and
Follow,
likes.
subscription,
Yeah.
whatever. And that's how you enter. And it's free. Like I said, there's no gimmicks. We're not going to spam you with stupid messages or
Not at
any
all.
of that kind of garbage.
We don't have time for that.
No, we don't. I don't have time for this at all.
I think that it's so
We're-
funny
We're too busy with seminars and workshops and
when people are
everything
like,
else.
"You're going to spam me?" Baby, that's cute.
yeah. We
That
don't
is
have time.
really cute that you think that I would have that much time on my hands.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much how you enter to win. And if you don't win, like Stephanie was saying, you can still come out party, give it a heavy discount.
Absolutely.
And
And we're going to be in the plane.
If the winner is a skydiver and is licensed, then we will talk about something else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, does that mean I have to go up twice naked? Topless?
I don't know any licensed skydiver unless they were doing it for their friend that is going to say, sure, I'll go tandem with you. Anyway, so that's how you do it.
Yes, that's how we do it.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go have some illustrious fun ourselves.
Are we?
We are.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Good night, Kinky Nation. So have you noticed on opplayground.net that they have like this forum for conferences?
Is there conferences on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some conferences, and they have the forums trying to educate people. I like that.
No, that's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of people do that.
Not a lot of people provide that educational element.
Right. We do.
We do.
Yeah,
But
like we host workshops, seminars, and put a lot of free content out there on an educational basis. But I like that All Playground is actually doing that because it shows their dedication.
it does show their dedication to the lifestyle and to my favorite, to education. Because
Absolutely.
we can't just jump into this without knowing what we're jumping into first. And I like how altplayground.net educates.
Absolutely. Go check them out.
Yes.
Hey, Fox,
Not again.
why don't you tell them where they can find us?
Oh, so you can find us on the book face.
Facebook.
Yeah, that thing. At the Kinky Coach. Or you can find us at any of the adult beverage websites. You like that?
I do, yeah.
Yes, because you're tasty. You're
Oh.
thirsty. Yeah.
Yes, thirsty.
So you can look for either Luna _and_ Logan, or you can look for the Kiki Coach and her Silver Fox. Yep.
So thank you for listening, and we hope you have a very sexy evening.
Have a good night.
You are listening to the Kinky Coach podcast with Stephanie
And Fox.